Hello, this is Diane Blake. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to cover a book that I created called Trees and Leaves. It's a collage and doodle book, and I based this on a book that's called a twig book, and that was, the idea came from Katerina Giglio. I'm not sure I pronounced her name right. I'm sorry, Katerina. Anyway, I will put her website for this particular project down below in the description. But it got its name because the spine is made with twigs for the binding. And it was kind of a cool idea, and you know that I like trees and leaves, so there you go. It was right up my alley. So in this book, I covered it with canvas, and it was rusted canvas, so that's where it got its color and design. And this little placard here is really just a piece of tag that's covered with aluminum foil. Well, not aluminum foil, aluminum tape that you can get at a hardware store. And then I colored that with some perfect pearls. The binding, as I said, is made with twigs. I got a little tag here that I added to it so I could have, when it's in my bookshelf, I can see what the name of it is. But all of these, each twig is put on here with embroidery thread and for each signature. Let's look inside, shall we? Again, this is a canvas. Hers did not have that canvas on it, but mine did because I just really wanted to use my rusted canvas. And what I did, when there's 72 pages in here, and each one of them is a single collage. And I started with some handmade paper. Each time you see leaves like these are from the paper. They were leaves that were embedded in the paper, at least the color of them were embedded, like on here and here. And the handmade paper was very fibrous, and it was really pretty neat. I got it at Costco, I don't know, 8 years ago or something, so don't go looking for it unless you can just go online and find some handmade paper that has leaf designs in it. But each one of these collages, I had to go back and put gesso, clear gesso on each page so that I could doodle on it. Otherwise, the paper was so fibrous that any ink that I would put on it would sort of feather out and bleed, so didn't want that to happen. Let's just sort of look through some of these collages. So again, a lot of these are handmade. The parts that are on here are a lot of hand-painted papers that I created. This is actually a tea bag. For those of you who drink tea, you probably recognize that shape. And for each collage, I doodled on each one. And this piece of paper right here was tracing paper that I had splattered with different colors of acrylic paint, sorry. And then I just doodled over the top of that. Some more collages. This is actually paper that you use to make clothing with. You make your design and you cut out your clothing, so it's a tissue paper made for that. And then I had stamped on it with, I don't know, some little stamps that I had, and it was a bird. And then I just sort of made it a little more free form in the, trying to keep it loose as far as the ink was concerned. This is another handmade paper, and so is this. And some more of that paper with clothing tissue, and then just several little pieces of paper on here for collage. Some of these are a little more sparse, so that if I ever decided I wanted to go back and journal on here, I can. I'm not sure I will do that because I kind of like the white space. And then we've got some paper that I had actually stamped some text on, and then some more collage. I'm just going to briefly go through these quickly so that you can just see some of the collage pages in the doodles that I had made. there were a few pages where I just wanted a little color because this is very organic looking, very greens and browns and muted colors. I even used distress ink around the edges to give each page a very aged look. If you look down here, you can see that the pages look aged. And that was kind of fun to do, but that sort of gave it too much of a brown look. So every once in a while you'll see spots of color just to perk things up. Now in some of these cases you'll see, like here, I took some other handmade paper that had little leaves in it, little tiny leaves, and I collaged that onto this, so I got some extra leaves because who can't get enough leaves, right? And this is what it looks like. So these are tapes that I created just out of some cloth that I had, and this is bound. You'll have to go see Katarina's video on how to thread the tapes through here, and that attaches all the signatures to the cover, and then using the in my case embroidery thread to wrap each of the twigs. But she shows you how to do it, and really her explanations are very good. Again, little pops of color here and there. On this page, for instance, you can tell that this paper had the same leaf design in it, and it's because you can see this coming up, and that's the same as this because it's the opposite side of the same page. So I just tried really hard that for each page where I had a design that was the same on both sides, to try to really make each of the images look quite a bit different. Again, there's little pieces of tea bag and little other handmade papers that have grasses and things in it, just because I liked it. On this one, this is again some other handmade paper, and it had little apricot or peach colored leaves in it and some blues, and I thought, well, that's just a little bit better to have some more contrast in color. A little bit of that bird's wing. Don't waste anything, even the little scraps. This one, I tried to make it look like a pot where a plant was growing out. And I don't know, just trying to find a way to use color and make it a little more interesting. Here I was trying to make it look like tree bark. This was a rusted piece of tea bag, and I really liked the way that turned out, but I wanted to use up some of those papers that I sort of find to be too precious sometimes. And then when that happens, then yeah, you waste, and I didn't want to waste. This was just a piece of the tea bag that sort of broke off and kind of curled, and I thought, oh, that makes a nice design, so I just added that in there. Some more tree bark looking things. Some more of that blue and pink embedded flowers, leaves. Of course, there's always a few pages that are your favorites, or at least for me, I have a few favorite pages in here. I like this one, particularly because of the purple. It just sort of stands out against all the rest of the colors. And I kind of like the apricot kind of a look there. I'm not sure you can tell that that's kind of an apricot look, but and then of course a little pop of red. Where would my art be without a little pop of red? Some more of that purple. This, when I put the gesso on it, it kind of made it flat, but this is kind of some batting that I just pulled off a little tuft of it and stuck it on there because I kind of wanted the texture. And I know the texture there and I can feel the texture, but it's sort of gone flat after putting some gesso on there to protect the page. Some more tissue paper that was stamped on. This is some more handmade paper, but I pulled it so that it's got little whiskers. I don't know if you can see the little whiskers. Yeah, you can see the little whiskers right here. They're sticking up, and I kind of made it sort of looks like grass, and I really like the way that turned out. Some more of that batting. This is one of my favorites. This one too. This one is actually some leaves that were in another paper, and I cut them out and sort of just attached them separately so they're not embedded. This was part of another collage that I had that had some flowers and birds and stuff on it, and I just kind of liked it because it had a book page in the background, so it just gave it a little more depth and texture. A little butterfly here made with little purple tracing paper. This one kind of almost looks like I put it in upside down, but I really wanted something on the top since everything else was bottom heavy, but it sort of makes it look a little more like a underwater scene. I like this one too. It's very soft looking. Some more of that leafy cutouts that I stuck in here. This one's nice. It's got some little grasses right there. Isn't it nice how this book lays pretty flat, considering there's 72 pages in this little book. He's kind of chunky, but he still lays pretty flat. Again, some more different handmade papers and a little bit of batting. More stamped on tissue. And now we're at the end of the book. And for those of you who haven't seen any of my other videos, I try to document my books because otherwise I forget. So I made it this year with handmade papers, rust-dyed canvas. It's collage and doodles, and it's a 4x4 sized book with 72 pages. That is all I have on this book. I hope you enjoyed it. My little trees and leaves collage and doodles book. Again, you want to go visit Katarina's site and learn how to make one for yourself. Thank you.